Good evening, everybody. This is USS Princeton 2004 here. It is February 2nd, 2013, and the time is 8:14 in the evening. And I had a friend of mine for a couple of hours talk about this movie he had seen. It's called VHS. It's the letters V/H and then /H. S. And he's saying that this movie titled VHS is the scariest movie he's seen so far. As far as scary movies made in America. He's saying a lot of the other scary movies that he's seen doesn't really scare him, like the paranormal series of movies. He said that those movies pretty much make him laugh, similar to other movies such as The Ring or maybe even Texas Chainsaw Massacre type movies. I was kind of curious to watch this VHS horror movie. I saw the trailer that it showed me on his phone on YouTube, and it seemed like a pretty scary movie. I'll probably get around to watching it sometime, but I'm not that in a hurry to watch it. But he had my attention because he said, a lot of the other scary movies, such as the paranormal series of movies, weren't scary to him, and this movie called VHS is scary to him. I like to watch some scary movies, but some scary movies aren't even that logical to me. A lot of it is just nonsense, and what gets kind of scary is if you get so into the scary movie, that the turn of events lead from one thing to another, and that's when you get yourself immersed into the movie, and some parts you do get scared, but for the most part, to me, a lot of the scary movies don't make sense. Like, if it happened in the real world, other people would react differently. depending on the person. But uh, I'd like to talk about something else. That I just wanted to mention that because it was just fresh in my mind because a friend of mine kept talking about it for a couple of hours, and you know, it's the way he just talked about this movie was pretty interesting. Um, and this particular friend of mine, he seems to just not even get scared at the other movies, at the other scary movies. So when he said he got scared on this one, that caught my attention. But I'd like to talk about other things that just recently happened. This morning I was talking about the GoPro Hero 3 hard mount that I made to take onboard videos on my 5807 slash. I had, for the most part, talked about what had happened yesterday in the video I made this morning. So I'm not gonna go into a lot of the things that happened at the RC track, but I had ran out of time during my moto vlog this morning because I reached my destination before I got to finish what was on my mind. And so I'd like to continue that by just talking about some of the things that irritates me about my new GoPro Hero 3 Black Edition action video camera. From the couple of times that I had ran with the camera on board my Slash, I was able to record video continuously, but a couple of times some of the video wouldn't be recorded because the camera freezes, or it just stops recording altogether. So I'm there running the Slash along with my brother, and we would think that the camera was recording all of the footage, but after several minutes, and we run a battery pack through the Slashes, we end up stopping, and that's the only time that we find out that the video camera has stopped recording. So it's irritating to me that my new camera just stops recording. I had specifically bought the the GoPro Hero 3 Black Edition because I had thought that the camera was capable of taking video even if the activity was pretty rigorous and it involved a lot of movement. But I think the one possible cause of the camera to stop recording is because of the impact from when the RC lands after jumping these rather high jumps. And I think when the RC lands, it jars the camera itself, and the forces from these impacts cause the camera to stop recording. So after experiencing those drawbacks firsthand, I have decided to just go easy on the jumps and not try to jump as high and not go as fast and accelerate before the jumps, and so that would lessen the force of the impact when the RC lands, and so that would keep the jarring effect down to a minimum. There's a possum to my left. On the left side of the road there was a possum that I just drove past. Those things walk rather slow. That's why you see often dead possums on the roads, because they get ran over. But on my next videos of me taking video of the 5807/, I'm just gonna ease back on the jumps, but I'm gonna accelerate as soon as I pass the jumps. So basically I'm just gonna try to roll over the jumps instead of actually catching air, and I'm just gonna run the trailing slash. I'm gonna try to run it safer, pertaining to just trying to minimize the impact forces that could cause the Hero 3 Black Edition to stop recording. I've seen a lot of onboard videos of RCs with the GoPro series cameras, but for a large percentage of the videos I've seen on YouTube, the RCs don't take the jumps that we take. I'm hoping that I did not get a defective Hero 3 camera. and for the most part, the camera works like it should. But I think, you know, like I've mentioned several times, it's just because of the uh, the jarring impact caused by the jumps that I take. I'm still gonna try to run uh, 100%, but uh, I'm just gonna roll over the jumps instead of actually jumping the jumps. But I think I can still keep up with my brother Eric, because I have suggested to him to just run his slash full speed, and I'll just try to keep up with him the best I could. I think I could keep up with him, and we're just gonna have to find out the next time we're at the track. Um, it was pretty cold yesterday. The sun was shining bright, but the wind was blowing pretty hard. So much so that one of my video cameras that I had set up around the track, it was mounted on a Dynex tripod, which I think is the DX-TRP60. I think that's the model number, but it's a pretty stout tripod. But even with the stoutness of the tripod, the wind was blowing so hard yesterday that it knocked the camera to the ground, and the camera did not sustain damages because it landed on sort of a loose dirt. It's not completely loose, it's sort of solid, but the dirt gave way to allow the camera to have some leeway to prevent it from cracking. And I think if the camera landed on concrete or asphalt or something hard, then I think it would have at the very least been heavily scratched. The particular camera that I'm talking about is the Canon PowerShot ELPH 100HS. And the good thing about this pocket camera is that it has a lens cover that automatically closes the lens if the camera is not in use. There's a auto zoom, which extends the camera lens when you first power on the camera. Um, but this extending lens tube retracts when the camera is not in use or the zoom has been adjusted. So the lens is protected from getting any scratches. I did have to wipe off some dirt from the flash part of the camera. There's other sections of the camera where I had to wipe dirt off of because of the way it landed on the dirt. But the camera is functioning like it should. It's 100% intact. There are no scratches. The dirt just wiped off easily. So it's been windy for the past few days, and hopefully the next time we're at the RC track, the weather would be not windy at all, where I would have to worry about my cameras falling to the ground after being mounted on tripods. But I'm where I need to be right now, so this is it for this video. This is USS Princeton 2004 signing out.